Asmon made a video about, is Elden Ring too hard or too easy? And I'm a new player. I never really played the, well, not never really. I never played the FromSoft games before, so this is my first game like that. And so I think that as a new player of this type of game, I might see things differently than he might. And so I wanted to see his opinion on this and see what people think about it. All right, so the video is about, is Elden Ring too hard or too easy? And as a new player of this type of game, I think that I have a different, probably will have a different perspective on it, but I'm not sure. I'm curious what people think about it, so we're gonna watch it.
What's up, boys? Today I want to talk to you all about the difficulty of Elden Ring. This has been a very popular conversation topic online, especially in my stream, especially whenever I play with certain weapons, and I'd like to kind of give my insight on it.
Certain weapons or some OP weapons?
This has been a topic, by the way, with all other From Software games as well. But I think because whenever Elden Ring came out, it just hit such a massively wide audience. Like, if you look at the Steam numbers, the amount of people that have played the game, it just completely dwarfs any other game that they've ever brought out. And I think for good reason. It's probably one of the best games I've ever played. So there's a lot of people out there who
it's really good.
And it's their first From Software game. And some of those people are saying the game's too hard, and some of the people that have been playing ever
I'm playing with two great swords, two big great swords. Is that OP?
since Dark Souls 1 are saying it's too easy. And today in this video, I want to talk to you all about why I think both of them are right and why I think that's a good thing. So basically, this has been a topic for ever since really Dark Souls 1 came out, and
I turned it up.
say Demon Souls as well, because Dark Souls has always been lauded as this is the real game. This is the hard video game. There's a lot of people, this is the Dark Souls of X type of game. This is the Dark Souls of Y type of game. And it's used as almost like a measure of difficulty and just kind of like a gold standard of difficulty. And I've always found that to be kind of funny, because if you look at any speed runs for the game, you'd see that if you use certain weapons, you can kill a boss in 3 hits. It's not really that hard. However, there's a lot of people that don't understand that, and I think that's why many of them think that it's too hard. And
wait, you can kill a boss in 3 hits? How do you do that? Where do I hit it to make it die in 3 times? Okay. There's a spell that's extremely powerful using magic. Magic is cheating.
Well, my own personal experience playing my own first,
like magic is cheap.
It's
cheap tricks, man.
Unfortunately, was very annoying. I was very upset about it, and you guys got to watch the entire thing back in 2018. So basically, this is what happened with me. Is I first started playing Dark Souls 1 a little bit after the remastered version came out. And I went through the entire game up into Sense Fortress with the longsword, the first weapon that I had received in the Undead Asylum. And I had an absolutely horrible time fighting against those snakes with shields. It was terrible. I was frustrated. I was mad. I hated myself. And just in general, I was really annoyed, right? And this is because I'm a very stubborn player. I like doing things my way, and I'm also really stubborn. Advice. But fortunately, I did listen to one person's advice, my friend McConnell, and he told me to go to the graveyard and pick up this Zweihander. And
that's what I'm using, great swords.
Have you ever used that weapon against the mobs in Sense Fortress?
But I haven't played Dark Souls.
Let's just say it made it a little bit easier, and it completely changed my perception on the game, and it opened up an entirely different perspective on how really to play the game, because I didn't know really what was possible. I didn't know the scope of tools that I really had at my disposal to solve problems in the game. And I think that is fundamentally why a lot of people think that Elden Ring is too hard, or they don't really think that the game is fair or something like that. The reason why that is I think in almost all cases, these people do not understand the tools that the game provides for you as a player.
So they need to Google it, basically. So from what I understand, they start the game with really, really bad gear, and they're going to get crushed. But if they had just Googled it and found a good build, then maybe they would know what weapons to use that would make the game really easy for them.
And this has been something that's true in Dark Souls as well. You have summons, you have all kinds of other like Bloodborne has fire paper. You have many different ways to augment and enhance your damage that can just, by the way, sorry guys, it's very, very...
Or experiment. Experiment. Yeah, that's a nice, yeah.
Windy here, it's why I'm wearing my hat. If balding people were a Pokemon, wind Pokemon would be their weakness. So I'm wearing a hat. Apparently there's going to be a tornado or something, so that'll be cool. And so anyway, I just wanted to
what?
right from my mouth every single probably 5 seconds. So anyway,
actually don't wear hats in Elden Ring at all. As a rule, my character will not wear a hat.
Trying to get at here is that Elden Ring has a lot of tools like this. Dark Souls had a lot of tools like this, and a lot of players don't really understand, or they don't really want to use those tools. Like for me personally, I don't like using summons for fights. I like going against the boss 1v1 because I feel like that's a more fulfilling way of beating the game. I feel like there are other people that also view the way that I play the game as not fulfilling either, because what do I like doing? I like getting the biggest bonk and then unga-bunging through the entire
That's
game.
pretty much what I'm doing.
Completely stomping the shit out of it.
That's
so like my philosophy going into these games is that everybody I think that plays them has a certain different type of parameter, especially people that play them regularly, that they want to beat the game under these circumstances.
I agree. Like for me, like I said, I'm a brand new player. I never played Dark Souls. This is my first time playing a FromSoft game. But I have, in pretty much every major fight, found some way to make the fight a lot harder for me than it needs to be. And I actually love it when people come into my stream and they tell me to go level up and then come back, or to go get the yellow summons, or like do X, Y, Z, because it just makes me even more determined and more stubborn about refusing to leave this fight alone. Like going in under leveled and just like trying to not get hit. Like we have a joke about, I don't need to put more points in vigor if I just don't get hit. But I wouldn't say that like I'm pushing it to the absolute limit, because I am a new player and I am still learning how to dodge properly. And if I get hit if I die in one hit, I'm not going to be able to learn and progress through the fight. But I still have a tendency, it seems, to like make life harder than it needs to be. And I really, really enjoy that, actually. That's one of the reasons I've loved this game so much.
And they effectively set the difficulty mode for themselves. And that's, I think, the big thing that a lot of people don't really understand with Elden Ring, is the fact that there is a difficulty slider. It's just that it's not on the menu.
Yeah, it's so true, though.
In terms of
another thing I want to say, he's going to talk about using summons, and I think in my first boss fight, I used the yellow summon because I didn't know what it was. And so absolutely breezed through the first boss without any problem at all. Like not even barely an inconvenience, because I had this yellow summon. But I have been using the blue summons, like the dogs and things, and I had been saving them, like for Godric the Griefer. I saved them for the second part of the fight, because I just felt like that was a difficulty level I was okay with. But then we fought this magma dragon the other day, and I had my jellyfish, and like was almost got him down with just using the level 1 jellyfish, like base level jellyfish. And then I went out, because people in chat said, oh, you just need to rank up your jellyfish. So I ranked up my jellyfish to like level 4. I came back to the magma dragon. I waited till like phase 2, near the end of phase 2. I've summoned the jellyfish, and like jellyfish is just tanking the boss pretty much no problem. And I feel like it might have, I kind of felt like the difference between level 1 jellyfish and level 4 jellyfish overly trivialized the fight. Like it became very, very easy after the level 4 jellyfish came out. And I think I wasn't, but I could see like what he's talking about with, that's the difficulty slider. But I don't know, like how could I, for me, it was a huge jump between level 1 and level 4 with my jelly. And I think it will be really fun to play through the game more and sort of get used to what sort of
summons.
difficulty I want to set it at for myself.
Those little ashes or like those little remembrances where it summons like monsters to help you fight the boss, and the boss fights them, or they deal damage to the boss, and so you can do more damage too. It's incredibly powerful. And then you also have, of course, like crazy good weapons. Like I've seen people use these bleed weapons that just chunk the boss's health. Like, you know, the screen's this big, the health bar's this big, and it just goes like this, you know.
What?
And it's fucking dead.
What?
And, stacking up 7 different buffs before you fight the boss, and then you just kill the boss in one hit.
Yeah, this sounds
Or
like
you're
there's a
talking
lot of
about this
different ways
laser
to
beam
play.
sword, you just shoot a beam at a guy
Which is
and they just fucking die. Like, it's just incredibly fucking overpowered if you understand what the tools are that you have available to you in the game. And I think that's really where the difficulty measure comes in, and I actually feel like it's a more fulfilling way of making the game easier than just simply clicking a button on a menu like you can in a game like Witcher 3. Because the fact is that whenever you learn and you see, it's like, I'm going through Sin's Fortress, and I just effectively discovered the, NES Power Glove with the Zweihander. I feel like a fucking god. But at the same time, I know that obviously I'm making it a lot easier, and if I used a different weapon or if I used a different strategy, it could be harder.
That's exactly what I was saying about this jellyfish that I got upgraded to level 4. Now I'm like not sure if I want to keep upgrading it because it might overly trivialize a boss.
Or actually, it could be even easier than that if I used other things like Dark Bead or other types of sorceries.
But I know I'm pausing constantly, but that's really the beauty of this game because you can decide that for yourself. There's so many like little decisions that you can make there to decide that difficulty level for yourself.
Either very bad or very good.
It's definitely better than clicking the button easy, normal, hard, nightmare.
I feel like the difficulty factor in the game for a new player is going to be very, very high because obviously these games, Elden Ring, has clearly been designed with
actually no this game is so easy, dude. Like I haven't had a problem at all like
with the insights of Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3
as a new player. Okay, like I'm not having any issues.
Dark Souls 2, there are a lot of things that come
I've
from
crushed every boss I came across.
I think they actually took a lot of the good ideas from Dark Souls 2 and they put them in Elden Ring, which was great.
Yeah.
Like power stancing, number 1. So anyway, I think that's probably one of the best things about the game.
What's the kappas?
You do have a difficulty slider for them.
What's
and
the kappas?
That's one of the main things that makes the playthroughs of the game so interesting.
Like I don't even get mad when I play this game. It's like kind of boring actually.
Is that the way that one person is going to play through Elden Ring is going to be entirely different than the way somebody else will. And I think this is also very true in a game like Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3 to a lesser extent. I think it becomes much less the case with a game like Bloodborne that's much more measured. And I think that it does have a much more direct path of progression, and there aren't necessarily as many tools.
I don't know. I didn't play the other games, so I have no idea.
This is what you can do in Elden Ring. This is what you can do in Dark Souls 3. This is what you can do in Dark Souls 2. Probably Dark Souls 2 might be bigger than Dark Souls 3 now that I think about it. Dark Souls 1, and then you have, again, I'm sorry, Dark Souls 1.
Oh, it's that tornado!
And then, of course, you especially have Sekiro. Sekiro, you only have a handful of tools, and it's really just a game that comes right down to the nuances of the combat. And the combat in the game is flawless, in my opinion, but there aren't really a lot of ways that you can go around it. I think Sekiro is really From Software's hardest game.
I would like to play that after Elden Ring.
Game is that it doesn't have summons. It's that you have Divine Confetti, Yasumatsu Sugar,
Divine Confetti,
a few other things like this. But for the most part, whenever you go through Sekiro, if you've heard somebody else that beat, let's say, the Guardian Ape or Genichiro or Ishin or somebody like that, and you talk to them about the fight, the chances are that they will have had roughly the same experience that you did with the fight. Meanwhile, with the Elden Ring and Dark Souls especially, this has been the case, is that I'll have a boss fight and I'll kill it in one try, and I'll first try the boss, and I'll be like, wow, I'm so good. Everybody said this boss was so hard, and then I'll go up against maybe, I don't know, a bird or something like that, and I'll spend an hour mauling about it while most other people beat it in a handful of tries.
The bird.
Why is that? It's because of the way that your play style is.
The bird.
And because the game offers you so many different ways to play it.
What bird kicked Asmon's ass? Was it the eagles with the knives on its claws? Was it bird with a sword? Is that the Oh, it's later. It's later. Okay, don't tell me. Okay, don't tell me that. Don't spoil me.
And I think that's actually one of the best things about the game.
I take it back.
It allows for replay value. It's much easier for
It's much later.
Replay a game.
Oh, here's another thing. I don't know if he's going to address it, but I have a question for some of y'all. I heard that later on in the game, after about 60 hours of play, there's a turning point at which the game becomes extremely difficult, like much, much, much harder than it was before that point. Is that true? Should I be worried? Am I on training wheels right now?
like Dark Souls 3, and I think that's why the mods in the game are so popular, and I think that will become the case with Elden Ring as well.
Wait, there's
looking forward to that very much. And the reason for that is because you have so many different ways that
There's
you can
mods?
win. I think the beauty in a game like Dark Souls 3, and especially with Elden Ring now, and Elden Ring really perfected this, is Elden Ring asks you the question, get to 4. How do you get to 4? And with Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, you can get to 4 by doing, 2 plus 2, 3 plus 1, 5 minus 1, 4 plus 0, -8 plus positive, 12 or something like that. And there are so many different ways, or 8 divided by 2, there are so many different ways that you can go about getting to that number 4. And what I really mean by that is that you can use sorceries, you can use summons, you can use
no count.
A big weapon and stagger the boss, you can use blood loss, you can use ranged abilities, you can use a lot of cheesy
I'm like a berserker.
Like that you can do on the boss.
Don't ask me how to get to 4.
There are so many different ways that you can approach a fight.
2 sword, only 2 sword. You mean I can use 4 sword? How to make 4 sword?
And I think that the game, in a way, for me personally, like my goal in the game is to
1
make
sword
the
plus 1
make
sword.
the game seem like
2
the
sword
joke possible. It's like a puzzle to me. How can I completely trivialize and make this game look like a total fucking joke? Right? Whether it's shooting the boss through an invisible wall, like, there's a wall right here and you're shooting like a projectile that has falling damage. Like, I think you can do this to Manus, and of course, obviously, the best example of this is Capra Demon. There's just a million.
Don't stop spoiling the game. I don't know those bosses.
These kinds of things are very funny and, interesting to do. I love doing these. And so I playing the game and beating the game as a real puzzle. And other people like to play it, and they like to make it as challenging as possible. They like to not use certain weapons that they feel are like too strong.
2 swords, 2 hands, 4.
But with a game like Sekiro, I think that really you can maybe do 2 plus 2, maybe you do 3 plus 1,
2 sword, 2
4 plus 0, but that's about it.
Stop.
You can't really solve the problem in a lot of different ways, and it does not make Sekiro necessarily an inferior game, but I think that it does interact with the amount of replay value it has after you beat it the first time. And I think also for people that are just simply not the initiated players.
DS1 spoiled.
I think this is what's happened with Elden Ring.
He just spoiled Dark Souls.
You have people now who have been playing From Software games since, 2015 or something like that. A new game comes out, and they're like, wow, this game's easy. Well, fucking no shit, it's easy. You're really good at them. Like, you've been playing it, you put 2,000 hours into these games. How can they possibly make a game that's going to be hard enough for you to feel fulfilled by beating it, and simultaneously...
I thought for the people like that, they should play Wretch and only use a club and don't level up, right? Just go level 1 with a club through the game. If you're really good at it, that's your difficulty slider. That's what you need to be doing.
Obviously not just be just as insurmountable level of difficulty for a normal person. And I think that's clearly what happens in many regards, and that's why you see a lot of the personal challenge runs, soul level 1 runs, like remembrance runs, all of these other types of things that are propping up now with Elden Ring, any percentage runs. And you see these things happen, and I think the biggest benefit...
Is that in my house? Okay, no, that's in the video.
That every single player gets to choose...
Is that the fun police that are rolling up outside this house? The fun police, what are you saying?
Want to do.
Did you just say that players can choose how they want to play the game? I don't think so, buddy.
These games are so good, and I think that's what a lot of people who are complaining about them don't seem to understand, is the fact that these games do have difficulty settings.
Yeah.
You can make it harder, and you can also make it a hell of a lot easier. I think that if you watch people that say Elden Ring is too hard, these are people that as soon as they got to, they went straight to Stormvale Castle. They fucking tried to beat their head against Margit for an hour or 2. They don't fucking know anything about the game. They die.
I don't know anything about the game, and because of that, I picked up the yellow summon at the start of before the fight, and it was completely trivialized. It was not a challenge at all. I think I died on the first attempt because I rolled off the cliff, and then the second time he was dead before I even realized what was happening.
They're frustrated as shit about it. I think that's probably 80%, I'm just throwing out random numbers, just a guess, right? But I think a lot of people run into that problem, and they don't know about the summons. They don't know about the different.
I mean, the summon was really obvious. Like, it was this bright yellow thing. Like, you can't miss it. You really can't. Like, it would be hard to miss that.
Types of ways that you can make the fight easier. They don't know about empowering devices like, exalted flesh or any sort of other thing to give your weapon like extra damage. They don't understand about like jump attack.
Wait, what is that? What did he just say? Exalted? What is that? What does that mean? What does that mean?
It's a posture bar, and if you like that, they just don't like. Why would they understand that?
What posture? There's a posture bar?
Fundamentally, like the game is about discovery, and I think in that way, Elden Ring will actually become an easier game over time. And it will not become an easier game over time because From Software will feel bad for all the journalists trying to beat it. It will become an easier game.
Oh man, the shade.
Neckbeards that have been playing this game
great.
every single day.
The journalists trying to beat it.
A month or so will have min-maxed all of the fun out of it, and they'll be able to tell all the casuals exactly where to go to get the weapon to kill the boss in 3 hits. So it's actually going to be easier for casual players to beat the game the longer the game is released. Because
oh yeah, I've seen when I can break the posture of the enemy, but I thought there was like a real bar I could find, but it's hidden, you say.
As more tools and more strategies and more information will come out that will trivialize parts of the game, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Because all of those things that players can do are completely optional. You don't have to do this. You can just not use this ability. And I think that's what the real beauty in these games really is.
You can just not use this ability. True, I agree. But
dynamically, whenever you want, from fight to fight, from encounter to encounter.
I wonder if the majority of people will actually do that, as I like to do, to deliberately hinder and handicap myself so that I can make a fight harder just for the sake of it, just because I'm really stubborn. I wonder if but does it matter? Like, it doesn't matter how other people choose to play. It's wonderful that there's just so many different options available to them, so they can play how they want to.
And that is what I think is such a great thing about these games. And I think that we've seen this already with Dark Souls 3, is that for a lot of these guys that are really, really big fans of the game, they like seeing the hardest version of these fights. We've seen some of the Sekiro mods, but Dark Souls 3 I think is mainly the biggest modded game. And if you play Dark Souls 3, a lot of these like Convergence mod, the Hollow mod, I did Cinders. Cinders was pretty easy, but to be fair, I played kind of a bullshit build. But many of these
if I like Elden Ring,
will make the game harder.
Well, I like
I think
Dark
you just
Souls.
have to wait for that to happen, and I'll certainly be really excited to play them. I've played, as I said, many of the Dark Souls 3
What do you
mods.
think?
I've played.
Oh, sorry.
Played many of the Dark Souls 1's mods. Daughters of Ash, in my opinion, is substantially harder than base Dark Souls 1. So it's almost like whenever I was playing Daughters of Ash, Dark Souls 1, I almost felt the same as I felt whenever I was a kid going from playing Super Mario Brothers to playing Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels. It was like, oh shit.
Why do you say avoid DS2? How are they? Is it like a story where you have to play one and then the other? Or...
Okay, now instead of there being 3 Goombas, there's 35, and there's like bullet bills coming at you in 3 different ways, and you only have like 120 seconds to get to the end of the stage, right? And I think those are the best things about it. So I'd say just be patient, and until then, keep doing your soul level 10 or 1 or club only retch runs, and wait for people to come out with some different deviations of what the game really is. But overall, I really had to say, bro, this is probably one of the best games I've ever played.
People don't like DS2 for no reason. Okay.
Honestly, I think about it all the time. That's why I keep going late on my stream. It's I just don't.
Me too, though. Me too.
I've been having so much fun with it, man.
I've been having the time of my life playing this game. If you've been watching the streams, I have been streaming late. I'm streaming way more every day, and just getting in anytime, anywhere I can. Anytime I want to play, I'm streaming it, and it is just pure fun. This fight I had with a dragon the other day, and I'm getting on the mount and rushing to the back and waiting for the attack and going around the back and chopping him a little bit and then getting back on the mount and running. It was so exhilarating. It is absolute time of my life playing this game, and I'm always looking forward to the next time that I can play it.
Great. And I want to talk about the difficulty of the game because, again, going back to what I said at the beginning, I think that the people that say the game is too hard, they're right. It is too hard for them because they don't understand the tools that they have available. And I think the people that say it's too easy are also right because they do understand the tools that they have available, and that's compounded on the fact that they've played every single other From Software game like I have, and they know exactly what all the nuances are.
If they know what the tools are that's available, then they should know to put those tools back in the shed.
You see something like the Erd Tree guy, the big guy with the staff.
The tree, yeah, I remember.
Miyazaki, you're not fooling anybody, man. That's an asylum demon.
What?
Like we know
I
we
logged
know this,
a tree.
right?
It
jumps up, it falls down.
What? I didn't know. It was hard, man.
It does the sweep. It's a fucking asylum demon.
I didn't know
and you know
it.
What? That's great. I'm happy. But it doesn't mean that whenever we see it, it makes it a little bit easier. And I think that's a really good way of reusing something in a very, tongue-in-cheek way, but it's still fulfilling to fight.
That's so nice for you, Asmon, that you were able to figure out what to do on this boss because...
laser beams that come and kill you, and it is a lot harder than the asylum demon. All I'm saying
just
is that,
like having flashbacks right now.
You see these patterns repeated throughout the games, and so it makes it easier for somebody who is a initiated player to immediately grasp. And I think that new players have to play catch-up with those players.
You mean new players have to get hazed? You mean we have to go through the hazing ritual of experiencing this all
context behind it
for the first time?
It's going to be a much different experience.
Okay.
I had that same thing happen whenever I was in Dark Souls 1, and by the time I started playing Sekiro and Bloodborne, it was a lot easier for me to pick up on things. And with Elden Ring, it was just substantially more easy. So yeah,
okay.
I think the game is too easy.
Wait, I'm not
it
salty.
It can also be too hard. It depends on how you come at it, what ways you choose to handicap or give yourself advantages, and I think that's one of the best things about the game. I hope more games take.
You know what really drives me crazy is when people say, "Oh, it's not that hard. You just have to understand it first." It's like the fight's not that hard once you understand how to do it. Well, like, no shit. Of course it's not. The whole problem is that I don't know how to do it. That drives me nuts.
On that approach, I don't think every game should. I think some games are fine just with toggleable difficulty modes because, different strokes for different folks. Everybody likes different stuff. But I'm really glad that we have a game like Elden Ring.
Me too.
That allows you to choose.
I love
really
this game,
man. Control of your own destiny. I think it's super fun, and I want to give my thoughts and everything.
It's super fun.
Of the game, where it comes from, and why I think it's a good thing. So
it's
anyway,
a very good video.
Really appreciate it.
It's a very balanced and reasonable video that it's it's true and real video. So let me put the link here in the chat. Definitely go and give it a like because I enjoyed that video a lot. It was interesting to hear from as a new player. It was interesting to hear the perspective of a veteran player because I just realized I have a lot of pain in store ahead still. Like there's so much that I'm still learning, and it makes me look forward to playing the other Dark Souls games because I'm pretty sure I'm going to love them knowing how much I've really enjoyed and loved Elden Ring.